What's up, everybody? It's a little later than usual, but today I'm going to do my top 10 SMGs. I just put out my top 10 long range on Saturday, and last week on Wednesday I did my top 10 loadouts, so I'll link those down below if you want to check those out. But if you wanted some more options for SMGs besides my loadout videos, this is going to be the video for you. Just like usual, close range never includes shotguns because we don't condone that on this channel, but let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so at number 10, same gun that's been at number 10 for a while now, is going to be the Cold War MP5. Spoiler alert, it's the only non-Vanguard gun on this list. I tried looking at a bunch of different other Cold War Modern Warfare guns, and I just compared them to the Tommy gun, the M1928, which is the only gun not on this list from Vanguard, I believe. And the MP5 was the only one better. So we almost had 10 Vanguard SMGs on this list, but the MP5 was slightly better, so it maintains that place. And there's other guns that are, you know, viable, close to the meta, like the UGR, the Tommy gun, the MP7, the Modern Warfare AUG. It's just kind of slow. I mean, there's a handful of guns that are. The OTS is kind of, but not as much anymore. But the MP5 ends up being the best of the non-Vanguard guns of all the SMGs, and it's better than the Tommy gun. So it's the same build I've recommended for a while: the Agency Suppressor, Tiger Team Spotlight, Raider Stock, Bruiser Grip, and the Sten 50 round mag. Once again, we run no barrel for these cleaner iron sights that you can see there. Instead of the full circle, it's just the half circle. And if you want a little better ADS or something, you could always drop the Raider Stock or the Tiger Team Spotlight and move to the Airborne Elastic or Serpent Wrap. Number 9 is going to be the Marco. It kind of blew me away once I started doing comparisons that this had moved so far down the list. It's still a really good, really easy to use SMG, but compared to the rest of the list, it doesn't have the movement speed or the time to kill. And I kept comparing it because I was going to put this at like 4 or 5, but I kept comparing it with the guns that are now ahead of it, and it just kept losing the time to kill battle. Of course, if you do a Kimbo, it's a faster time to kill, but then that comes with its own negatives. It's the same build I've recommended for a while: the recoil booster, the 342 barrel, the slate reflector, the Perfetto Asada, the hand stop, the 8mm 64 round mag, the lengthened tape grip, gung ho, and quick. This thing, you could probably improve the time to kill a little bit here or there. Like if you go the 240mm barrel, you'll get a better time to kill because of fire rate. But the 342 with the Perfetto Asada stock and the hand stop, which you could use Strife Angle to Carver if you wanted, but those hurt ADS and hand stop doesn't. This thing just doesn't move. It's really easy to use. And so if you were looking to slightly increase your time to kill, you could go the fire rate and it would jump up this list, but then it's not easy to use. And the ease of use almost kept it higher on this list because it just doesn't move. It's super easy to use. Number 8 is going to be the Sten. This is probably the highest ranked I've had the Sten. Once again, it's got like one of the top movement speeds in the game. And it's another low recoil gun with crazy movement speed. It's the same build that I recommended last time with the recoil booster, the rapid barrel, the slate reflector, the Gaiwin para. You could consider the wire stock, but I think the movement speed is actually slightly worse, and you have worse recoil control. And when you're building the Sten, you want to build it for movement speed. That's really what this gun is best at. So then you have the Mark 6 skeletal stock, which helps your movement speed. This thing doesn't have a whole lot of recoil, but if you do struggle, of course, go with the Strife Angle, the Carver, or the hand stop. Another movement option is the compact stock, which you could use on any of these guns because it increases your aim walking move speed. But the skeletal just increases your overall move speed, so it also helps your hip fire speed. And then we have the 9mm 50 because it gives you a better time to kill than like the Marco. But if you're going max movement speed and probably max time to kill, you're going to want to go with the 7.62 36 round mag, but then you run into it only being 36 rounds. So the 9mm 50 is a good option, but you're going to want to choose one of those two mags. And then lengthened or subsonic, slate reflector, or your choice of optic, taped grip like always, gung ho, and quick. Momentum and frenzy are decent options, but gung ho gives you that instant sprint to fire. Acrobatics also a decent option, but I want that instant sprint to fire. And then of course you're going to run quick on all your Vanguard SMGs. Number 7 is the short barrel MP40. This gun has just hung around. It's nothing exceptional anymore, but it's still really, really good. And might even be better than this if you just looked purely at time to kills. But this is where I have it on the list. It could probably move up a little. But it's the same build. It's been recommended for a while. The recoil booster, the short barrel, the hand stop, the Garanko 45 round mag, the lengthened, your choice of optic, taped grip, the folding stock, gives you that movement speed, momentum, and quick. If you do think there's a little bit of extra recoil on this, you can go with Perfectionist to help with that recoil control, but I don't think it's bad, so I prefer that increased movement speed after kills. And you could also consider remove stock, but it does give you a little bit of recoil, and if you're going to go with remove stock, I would definitely recommend Perfectionist. So either momentum and the folding stock, or remove stock and Perfectionist. Kind of overall just up to you. I do actually want the diamond. That's kind of just up to you. Moving on to number 6, we have the new RA25 or 225. If the 7.62 round mag had 45 or 50 rounds, this might be number 1 on the list. Because you only get, it almost has a broken time to kill. It absolutely is meta time to kill with that 38 round mag. And the 55 round drum is still very competitive time to kill, but it's a little slower move speed, slower time to kill. So this ended up a little higher on the list than I thought I was going to put it when I went into this list. But having to use the 55 round mag did knock it down. If you're playing solos or duos and use the 38 round mag, this would be the number 1 slot. But most people are playing trios, quads, even if it's random fill on rebirth. So you kind of have to use the 55 round mag. But if you use the 38 round mag and you're just looking for time to kill and you can make do with less ammo, this moves way up to the list, number 1 or 2. But otherwise, it's the same build I recommended in the video of it, other than the mag. I'll link that video down below as well. But you're going to use the recoil booster, the rapid barrel, the strife angled, lengthened, tape grip, slate reflector. You want to use the Valenta stock, give you that movement speed boost. You could try other ones, but you're not going to get quite the movement speed boost. If you're going to use a different stock, I'd probably recommend the MB stock because you get more movement speed and you get better hip fire as well. But you get the best movement speed with the LDB stock. And then Vital. This thing just literally has like no recoil. So definitely use Vital. Otherwise, use Momentum. And then in 3rd place would be Tight Grip. 4th place, Steady. And then this should actually be quick. You want to run quick on it. I didn't finish the tips for that. And so the RA225, use the 38 round mag. I'm putting it 1 or 2, but with the 55 round drum, I'm probably going to put it at 6 here, like I have. Number 5, we're going to put the well gun. The well gun takes over that slot from the 225 just because it is so easy to use. It's got good movement speed. It's got a really good damage drop off. It just has so many good qualities despite being a little slower time to kill. But it's like no recoil, just like the RA225. So you're going to want to use the recoil booster, the Guywin short barrel, the strife angled, carver, or actually like the hand stop better on this one. The hand stop, the carver foregrip, or the strife angled, depending on what you prefer. The 7.62 round 40, lengthened or subsonic, your choice of optic. You're going to want to use the remove stock. If you're looking for a little more recoil control, the best is probably the 43M stock. Nothing else helps with recoil, and that's only horizontal, so it's not really worth it. Gung-Ho for that instant sprint to fire, but momentum, fleet, acrobatic, all really good options. Frenzy's a good option as well, but the instant sprint to fire you just can't beat. But otherwise, I'd probably recommend acrobatic or fleet. And then quick as always. If you think this has a little too much recoil for you, go with the shrouded barrel. This would probably knock it down the list a couple spots, but it has absolutely no recoil with this exact same build and just the shrouded barrel. Number 4 is going to be the Type 100. Now, this could have been higher on the list if you're just looking for time to kill with the 36 round mag, but then with the 36 rounds, it's also arguably lower on the list. And you don't lose a whole lot of time to kill, and it's still a better time to kill on above everything before on this list, except for the RA225. And you get really good movement speed. So if you're playing trios and quads, we're going to run the exact same build as I've always recommended. Recoil booster, rapid barrel, your choice of optics, skeletal stock for that movement speed, strife angled, carver, hand stop, your choice, lengthened or subsonic, tape grip, gung-ho. Vital's a decent option too now that we're removing some of the recoil with the mag change. But that instant sprint to fire is just so useful. And then quick. So if you're going to run solos, duos, go with the 36 round mag. But just like the RA225, I'm recommending the bigger mag because the time to kill is still there to be competitive. It does block a lot of your screen, so that's something to look out for. But you're going to need the extra rounds if you're fighting trios and quads. Number 3 is going to be the Blixen. The Blixen has gotten 8 nerfs now. It's still really, really good. And it's the same build I've been recommending for a while now. The recoil booster, the 17-inch F3 barrel, the strife angled is my favorite on this one, but hand stop, carver, whatever you prefer. The 7.62 54 round mags, lengthen, tape grip, slate reflector, remove stock, fleet, and quick. If for whatever reason you're struggling with the recoil, switch to the CR10 stock for really good recoil control and an increase in movement speed. And a lot of people are switching back to the 9-inch barrel. The 9-inch barrel will give you a faster time to kill and arguably move this thing up to number 2 or number 1 on the list. But you do lose headshot damage, which I never like, even though I don't always hit the most headshots. And you do lose recoil control, whereas the 17-inch barrel makes this thing just not move when you combine it with the strife angled, and it gives you really good bullet velocity. So it's between those two barrels. It's kind of a preference thing. Slightly faster time to kill, but you'll hit more shots with the 17-inch barrel. At number 2 on this list, we have the Arma. I really think you could switch the Blixen and the Arma depending on your preference. But this is just, the Arma might be my favorite right now, but I don't think it's the best, so I put it at number 2. But I think the Arma with this build is my favorite. So it's a build I recommended previously with the recoil booster, the 550 barrel, the slate reflector, the folding stock, the strife angle, the 9mm 60, the length and the tape grip, the hard scope, and quick. If you don't want a hard scope, Vital's another option. I just think this thing starts to get bouncy when you start hurting the recoil too much. And then you have to start looking into doing polymer or doing the body DA, and the body DA hurts your movement speed, whereas this build right here has like no recoil at all and has good movement speed. And so a lot of people will run the 570 because I think that gives you even more recoil, but it hurts body damage, and I'm not hitting a crazy amount of headshots. You know, max in a fight I'm hitting 1 or 2, and I'm hitting mostly chest shots. And so I like the 550 because it's so little recoil, so easy to use, and I'm not hurting my body damage. Now, if you want the fastest time to kill, the build I used to recommend, the 315, is the best time to kill. But if you go to 315, I would probably recommend keeping the build the exact same, except going to the body DA. So it's kind of a trade-off. I really like the ease of use in hitting my shots and having better movement speed. So I prefer the 550. But my order of barrels would be the 550, then the 315, and then the 570. The short's a good option for the movement speed build, but I want my recoil control, and I just want to hit every shot. And number 1, last but not least on this list, is going to be the Vanguard PPSH. And you're going to have the recoil booster, the 230 barrel, which is the hipfire barrel, but it also increases your fire rate. Your choice of optic. I like slate reflector just in case I have to ADS sometimes, but if you're never going to ADS, go with the 4-8, the 4x flip. Go with one of the more zoomed in optics, because the accuracy, even though there's no bloom, that accuracy statistic still helps your hipfire accuracy. And then we go with remove stock, which gives you more movement speed and better hipfire accuracy. Fleet, give you more movement speed. Quick. Pine tar grip is the hipfire grip. 8mm 71 round mags gives you a slightly faster time to kill, but the 7.62 also works well as well. And it gives you better movement speed using the 7.62 round mag over the 8mm round mag. And then I have subsonic. Lengthened isn't going to matter because this is a hipfire build. Hollow point also becomes more usable here because we're not worried about as much damage range. 1, the PPSH has really good damage drop off, and 2, we're hip firing, so our damage range already doesn't matter anyways. And then the only other debate really here is Carver foregrip helps with hip fire accuracy and vertical recoil control, and steady helps with recoil control, not as much as the Carver, but also helps with hip fire accuracy a little tiny bit more. So this is kind of a preference thing. It doesn't hurt your ADS, whereas the Carver foregrip does. But the Carver foregrip gives you slightly better vertical recoil control, and this thing is mostly vertical. And the hip fire accuracy is pretty much a push. So it's going to be the steady stock or the Carver foregrip because this is a hip fire build. It's kind of preference. I still think I prefer the Carver foregrip. But those are my 10 best SMGs at this time. Thank you so much for watching, whether you watched the whole thing, you clicked around the video. I appreciate any watch time at all. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more. Of course, I'm putting out videos anytime there's an update that changes guns. I did miss a Serpentine update video, but that was the only change in the meta, and Serpentine still feels really strong. And let me know down in the comments below if you think I'm right, I'm wrong, I'm smart, I'm dumb. Let me know down below. And I do have a couple video ideas, so keep an eye out for those. I also have my Twitch link down below. I'm streaming almost every day now, so please check that out down in the description below, as well as my Instagram and my TikTok, which I post on pretty much daily, and my Twitter is also linked down below. So please feel free to check all those out, but I will see you on Caldera, Rebirth Island, and Fortune's Keep. Get frying. Have a good day. Bye.